get the name. Shout out Chop, we locked in, it's the chain gang. Yeah, can't stand around the kid if you gon' keep complaining. I could drop some names, but nah, I'ma keep it players. We flashing bitches every time we see a hater. Keep my name out your mouth, bitch, unless we talking paper. Come on, motivate, yeah, elevate. Take that chain around you and get real estate. Know some niggas moving at the same pace, but it's crazy how them niggas think we in the same race. Ever told the truth and they still lie to your face? Call me as a bitch and we could tell by your bank, yeah.
Yo. What it do?
What's going on?
What's up, America? I'm Chapo.
And it's your boy, Sav.
And we are the Chop It Up Podcast. Man, we are in season 2, back again with another episode. And we got some fire content for y'all today. We got a very special guest that we like to bring in today. I want y'all to give a big round of applause for my girl, Miss Curry Pierce. What it do, Miss Curry?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
We doing amazing. Man, it's good to see you again. Feel like I just seen your ass last week.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good.
Man, we're going to have a great show today. Got a lot of energy. I've been drinking, so we don't know how this shit going to go. Well, man, it's good to see you again. I know it's been a while. We connected at Lisa's event.
Right.
Shout out to the Love Network.
Yes.
So interesting thing, America, we met Miss Curry doing another podcast, and now she's on our podcast. So,
yes.
Very pleased to have you here.
Very, very grateful to be here.
Definitely. Well, we'll go ahead and hop into it. So, for those that don't know, we just want to get a little background about your story. So if you can start off just by telling us who you are and where you're from, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Curry Pierce. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved to Dallas back in 2002 just for better opportunity. And I began my career at Geico. I was a underwriter and worked in claims. About 2008, a friend of mine was starting his own business and needed assistance. And at the time, that's when the mortgage crisis kind of
it's the first recession.
Yeah.
The one they didn't tell us about the PPP.
Yeah. And so at that point, I moved on to another insurance company from Geico, and I was laid off. And so during that time, that's when Obama was just in office. So that's when he was really, blessing us with the unemployment and stuff. So because of that and child support and different things I had going on, I was able to kind of take a break to kind of make, kind of decide where I wanted to go from there. So I started to assist my friend with his business for 2 years, and we did pretty well. He started a small tax firm in Dallas that primarily was attracted to the Hispanic community in the areas. And so I worked with him for 2 years, and then from there I ventured on to start my own. And I started that in 2010. So I've been having my own firm for about we're going into our 14th year, I believe it is.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So right now we currently have 2 locations with that business on Lombardi, and then we have one in the Bishop Arts District in Oak Cliff off of Polk and Jefferson. Okay. And so from there, maybe about 2 or 3 years later, I went ahead and incorporated my insurance brokerage firm. And so we also provide auto, health, life, homeowners, renters. We also do surety bonds. We also offer insurance on the commercial side as well, workman's comp, commercial auto, trucking insurance for truck drivers, all of that. Then in about 2015, I decided I wanted to go into the auto business, and I started my company, Rapido Motors. I got my auction license, and then 2 or 3 years later, I got my finance license. And then I actually got a physical location back in 2019. And so that's the 3rd location that I have in Irving. And I've been doing that, since 2015. So that's Rapido Motors.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get me a car.
Hey, man. Showing up boss shit. Real talk.
Man, that's dope. So what brought you to Dallas?
I have an older sister who she moved to Dallas like in the late 80s after she graduated college. So like when I was like a preteen, teenager, we would always come out here to visit her like in the summers. And then my younger sister actually moved out here in 2020.
Okay.
And like I said, I went to Dillard University. And I
Okay.
graduated in 2000.
Shout out to Dillard. Shout out to Dillard.
D.
So after college, I tried to get jobs in New Orleans. And even prior to Katrina, New Orleans just wasn't, a city that really could, unless you knew people or you were in politics, it was just really hard to advance economically at that time. And so my sister was like, why don't you come out here? She came to visit for Essence. And she was like, I really think you need to come and give Dallas a try. And I was like, okay. So in August of 2002, I just made, like, literally in a weekend, I just told my sister she was coming to pick up her son from visiting. And I was like, what if I packed my stuff up and just jumped in the car and went to Dallas,
Just left.
And she was like, why not? And then that's how I got to Dallas, August 5th.
Man.
Yeah.
Best decision you ever made.
Yeah, I
coming
wouldn't
out
take
here.
it back.
That's about the 45,000 person in the city.
Man, it's just, you just got to go out on faith, man.
Right.
Take a chance.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I love New Orleans, and it's very hard to leave.
It's home.
It's
It's
very
always gonna
hard
be
to
home.
leave.
I've heard that.
It's
very
hard to leave.
I've heard that.
So for people, especially anybody who left prior to Katrina, it probably was really a hard decision for most people to make. Because even a lot of my friends who came after Katrina, a lot of them just went right back because they just wanted to go back to what they knew.
And like, I experienced Katrina. I was in Gulfport, Biloxi area, but I know when I had migrated to like central Mississippi after Katrina, a lot of people from New Orleans were migrating to Mississippi and like Houston. I know like Houston is like the second New Orleans. There's so many people, that's out there. But how was Katrina the experience for you?
So I was already here. Like I said, I moved here in 2002. The crazy thing, I was very homesick, like, because it's very hard to leave. And so I was trying to figure out how could I get back to New Orleans. Well, I was working at Geico at the time, and I was in underwriting. And the only way I would be able to transfer is if I went into claims, because that's the only office they had in New Orleans. So I was trying to get into the claims department so I could figure out a way to get back to New Orleans. And then Katrina happened. And so when Katrina happened, my entire immediate family, like my mom and all my sisters and brothers who were still living out there, they actually moved to Dallas. So once that happened,
no point. Going
it wasn't no
Everybody
point in
here.
going back. And so I always said that was the universe stopping me from going back. When that, not Katrina, but just the way things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
But when it happened, it was crazy because we had just had a scare the year before. And, I don't know if you were a part of that when they thought it was a major storm, but everybody went right back. That's why a lot of people
didn't know that.
Yeah, it was just the year before during hurricane season, my family had came down and everything was fine and they were able to go back. So when Katrina happened, we were thinking
Messed
this is going to be the
everybody
same
up.
thing. We were
Like cry wolf type of thing.
like, oh, y'all coming up here for a weekend? We're going to have a party. Like they literally just left with a few clothes thinking, we'll go up there for the weekend. Then
Came back, everything gone.
And that's why a lot of people didn't leave for Katrina, because they were like, well, when we left, because one of my sisters, her and her family didn't leave because she said, well, last year when we came out there, we spent so much money and then we had to come right back. So we're just going to stay. And that's how they ended up staying.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Katrina is definitely that shit one for the
Nah,
books.
but even like when in the last season talking with Wayne, like when Wayne brought it up about Katrina, like, it just kind of gave him that extra push he needed. You know what I'm saying? It just pop out. And so
Right.
I don't think he really looked back after
Right.
that. So
My family didn't. My mom, at the time, she's passed now, but my mom at the time, let me see, that was 2005. She had to be like, I think 65 at the time. And she's still working. She was a nurse. And when she got out here, she was like, if I would have known, she was just amazed at the opportunity that they had out here and the job she was able to get and the amount of money she was able to make.
I'd have been left.
That's what she was
I
always
got
saying.
my money. I was gone.
Yeah, when my family came, they immediately just started looking for apartments and they just went to getting jobs. They didn't even wait on anything.
No, that's dope, man. You was able to get your family out here and experience that. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. So you said you were an underwriter
For
at
Geico.
You are the first underwriter that I met. Like you really like the plug. Like when they say really on the plug on the plug. So you was determining
if your rate was going to be increased or if we were going to drop you or, I was that person that looked.
So now that we got a real insurance person here.
So that's who I need to talk to.
So let's shed a little light on, like, how does that work? Because I was shopping for insurance. I had USAA. Stuff went up. They was like, yeah, the area you live in, that's why your rate going up. Well, shit, I ain't had no accident.
Well, let me tell you, because what people don't realize what insurance is like, okay, all of us in this room, right, we're putting into a pot. All of us are putting in equal amount of money into this pot, right? But say, you tend to have to go into the pot a lot more often than we do or whatever. So that's why your rate is going to go up. So if you're in an area where that particular area, a lot of people are going into this pot, because you have some people who have insurance for years and never make a claim. So just think about
me. I've never had an accident.
so
my stuff steady going up.
Yeah.
So do they got like a list to say ain't shit happening over here? Like, can I get that list? That's what I need.
Y'all pretty much go off like the geography of everything.
Yeah, they take in a lot of statistics, just constantly, bringing in data. So because
any damn people out here.
right.
It is. They said a million
That's just
people
all
moved
it
to
is.
Dallas
And I'll
last
tell you
year.
one thing that Texas has a big problem with is a lot of, in Texas, you don't even have to have a driver's license to get a car.
What?
Oh, yeah. You don't have to have a driver's You don't even have to have a...
Time the hell out.
So I can just walk in there, hey,
Yeah, you don't have to...
I'm LeBron James, and I just want to get a G-Wagon in my name.
So
as long as your credit good.
So hold on. How can y'all confirm? And I'm probably a dumb question, but for people who don't know, how can you confirm my age and all of that?
Well, I mean, you
without
have
the
to have
driver's
some
license?
form of ID.
So would that be like a birth certificate? Or?
I got this library card.
It just depends on the company. So like I was telling you guys, most of my client base is of the Hispanic descent.
Yeah.
And so we insure some of the non-resident aliens, those who are here and they're probably not legal. And they have what they call matricular IDs or passports, just something saying that there's somebody with a date of birth and they can get insurance.
Man. They can get insurance, but they can or cannot get a car.
They can get a car.
That's crazy.
So what's the catch?
Shit. Google.
I wonder if it worked like that the opposite way around.
The catch is their insurance is crazy. Like their insurance is high.
The price is the catch. There we go.
But I say that to say because that is so heavily populated here, especially in Dallas, that's why sometimes the cost is spread to the other drivers as well.
Man, I just need to know what area I need to be in to get
Your ass need to be 30 minutes away from the city.
When I moved here, my rate was good, and then I switched over, and they was like, yeah, so you're in a high volume area, and then that number they gave me, I'm still looking at it weird 3 years later. So nah, that's dope though. So with your business now, just dive into like just some of the avenues that you've been successful with that you've kind of went through and helped grow your business.
Well, I could tell you this, and even a lot of people who know me, the tax business can be real popular, among people because they think it's a business.
You about to get paid now, girl. It's January. Now the W-2 about to drop.
That's right. That's a big
right. But we were talking earlier before we started the podcast, and we were talking about when there's a lot of people in the industry that you're working in. The thing is, you have to find that thing that makes you stand out or make you different that will attract the customer base that you need or keep you successful. Because everybody's popping up with a tax firm especially during tax season. The thing that I feel that kept us different and why my client base grew and why I'm able to stay open is because I made sure that the people in my office, that if something were to happen to my software, all of my people that I train, all the employees that work for me, they can do a tax return from scratch. They can do a handwritten one. So they understand how to do taxes. A lot of times, a lot of these people who are opening up tax offices, they may not even really know much about tax law. They just know how to manipulate software to get the numbers that they need. So I make sure that the individuals that work with me, that they're that has been one of the biggest plus too with us getting customers because we stay open all year round. And a lot of these people who pop up, like you said, right now from January to May, money is going to be good. But see, when money comes in and then, they start running down to maybe one customer per day or two customers, a lot of these offices will close up because they've made all their money and they're going off to the next thing.
They can come see y'all in October
Right.
When they can't file on time.
Right. Or if they get an audit letter or a letter from the IRS, or if they're being held up because they just need to verify their identity and that their tax preparer is not answering the phone because they've already closed their office. A lot of times we get those customers that way because they can always contact us.
Man, I know that ain't no good feeling. Sam always just be calling for.
Sam blocked on my phone.
He ain't even my uncle.
Sam blocked on my phone. But I wanted to ask, going from a regular 9 to 5 and then branching out into being an entrepreneur, right? Kind of break down that mindset on being ready, being prepared to kind of just say, okay, I'm gonna take a leap of faith. I'm gonna leave that and I'm gonna do my own thing. Were you kind of scared? Was there any sense of doubt in the process starting out? So
I think when I very first met you guys and we did the podcast with Lisa, I always speak on this because I always want to be honest and transparent with people. Like I said, I just kind of was in a good situation where I could take that leap of faith. Now trust me, when I was laid off, of course, my mentality was, okay, you need to get your resume together, get back out there and start trying to get you another job. And then my mom was the one who came to me and she was like, you're getting your unemployment, you got your child support, she's like, I'll help you. Why don't you take your time? And then that's when I thought about it. I said, well, let me see how this is going to go with working for my friend. And I kind of just jumped into it. But when I went into it with the mindset of as if it was a 9 to 5, not just, okay, today I'm going to do this. Because even when we opened the office, like we opened around this time in January, the very first office, there was nobody walking in. And so, a lot of the girls who were working with me, they'd be like, well, nobody's here today. We're going to leave. Nobody's coming in, and they were ready to close early. And I was like, we have to act as if we know, you have to put it out there that you're expecting to have customers. So we're going to act like we expect 30 people to walk in here today. I don't care if nobody walks in. We're going to open the doors from 9 to whatever time we have on the door. We're going to go out there and pass out flyers.
How many employees did you have when you first started?
When I first started, about 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was, at the time he was funding everything. So I was able to, kind of maneuver based on with the help of him. So when I got ready to start my own, I already had the blueprint because I had learned from him.
So really just kind of getting under somebody and that's already like in an entrepreneurship space instead of a corporation really helps out a lot.
But I will say this, and I don't want to discourage anybody or make it seem like it's a special sauce you have to have. But over the years of doing this and different people coming to work for me and people telling you, I want to do my own thing or, I want to start my own business. I will say this, everyone that I know who has been successful as an entrepreneur or working for themselves, it is a mindset that I think that is inside the person. I'm realizing, Eric,
this ain't cut out.
There have been times, because I started out my business with a lot of my family and my friends working for me. And in the beginning, it was what the business needed at the time. But when I was ready to evolve and make changes and go to the next thing, it was hard for some of those people because they didn't have the mindset. But I assumed that they did because I was like, y'all been under me all these years. Y'all should you should want to be doing everything I'm doing. You should want to get your own office or, I'm going to put everybody on. Everybody going to be able to be these bosses. And
it don't be like that.
And it wasn't like that at all. I run across a few people where you could, and that's what I'm saying. When you can tell when that it's in an individual from the way they're speaking, the things that they're saying. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to discourage anybody who may feel like they may not have those qualities, but every time I've run across someone who's been successful at doing their own thing and being able to maneuver without having to, do what society expects them to do or, they just have that thing inside of them.
You got to have a go-getter mentality.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing, man. That mindset changes everything.
Yeah. I had I tell this story to people. It was funny because another friend of mine who I'm friends with on Facebook, I haven't seen him since we probably were like in 3rd grade. But how I remember him is I started my very first business with him in the 3rd grade.
Damn.
And so, from New Orleans, it's funny. What
was the name of the business?
So we're not going to laugh. So, we're from New Orleans, so we have Mardi Gras. So Mardi Gras beads. So we have when you live in New Orleans, you have Mardi Gras beads like even at my house here in Dallas, Mardi Gras beads be like everywhere. Because my mom used to ride the float. So, you see them everywhere. So we used to make little like puppies out of the Mardi Gras beads. And we would sell them at school for like a penny. And these kids would buy them. And so we called it, I think the name of my company was called Puppy Co. or whatever. And we were selling them and we were doing good. And then another little boy tried to open up one and it was like our competition and we were having like a race. So then, you know,
third grade.
That's a real hustler, everybody. She been hustling since the 3rd grade.
So then I'm going to show my age on this one. So I caught chicken pox. I don't know if y'all.
I had this shit.
So I caught
It
chicken
ain't
pox.
around no more.
And I left, I had to be out of school for 2 weeks and my business went to the ground when I got back.
Damn.
But it was funny because it was 3 of us who started it, and all 3 of us, the now that we're grown,
Entrepreneur.
you know, he has a job, but he's always doing something outside of it on his own. And so also I have another friend named Mary, and she started her own practice. It was just funny to me to see how just from that we all kept that mindset.
Nah, that's dope. And to be able to keep up with somebody from the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think I have contact with nobody from
It was
the
through
3rd grade.
because of Facebook and, you know, just different things like
All you
that.
gotta do is go in your yearbook and
Bro,
ask somebody else.
I
You know
have
what I'm
one
saying?
yearbook and it's from the 7th grade, and that's it. I couldn't even tell you who I went to school with in 3rd grade. I don't know nobody.
I just always had a good long term, not short term memory. Like I'll spend 3 hours looking for my keys, but I can tell
That's
you who
typical.
my 3rd grade teacher was.
That's typical. That's typical.
Man, I don't remember no teacher.
Nah, facts. I don't remember none of them folks.
I don't remember nobody.
They was, I appreciate their efforts, but I don't remember none.
You know, most people say I was an A student, I was a C student. You know, because the way I looked at it was the degree don't say what your grades were. It
Right.
just say the degree.
Right.
So I didn't give a fuck if I got out with
Right.
all D's. Whatever we had to do to get that piece of paper.
I ain't gonna lie. Speaking on that, I don't know why people, and this is just my take. I don't see like if anybody was to get out of college to put what your GPA was.
Nobody cares a fuck about that.
Yeah,
Nobody has even ever asked to see my degree.
ever.
I realized that
Facts,
that
like-
GPA stuff, you know, in school is good, but like in our full-time job, I hired a lot of people doing
Right.
interviews. Oh, 3.9, 3.8. These folk dumb as hell.
Right.
Yeah, real talk.
Right,
hell.
right. That's why I was telling somebody I look at school differently for my kids, and sometimes I don't like to share this with people because I don't want them looking at me crazy.
I agree.
I was just like, you know, I try to tell my kids, you know, go to school, do well, do what you have to do to get this piece of paper that society says that you
That
have
you
to
need.
get. To,
You don't even really need it no more,
Right.
according to
Right.
these new surveys they're doing.
Right. But I'm not going to let a piece of paper with a bunch of grades on or letters tell me how smart my child is. Because my youngest son, that boy got more common sense than a lot of grown people I know, and he just don't like school. And he would tell you, I don't like school. And he already knows when he's going to school that he doesn't plan on doing anything.
See, at least he got his mind made up early. I ain't know what, you know.
We was in that big guessing.
I was out here getting up every day, just going to class because they said come. Like, yeah, when you get this degree, you're gonna be able to like,
Yeah, nah. It's the education thing is totally different
Right.
from what it was for sure.
They need to start a program, and Biden need to fund it. Sell your degree back to the school. Student loan. So you want to get rid of these loans, Biden? I got an idea. Call me now.
He don't
I got
care.
something for you
He
now.
don't care. That shit ain't gonna never happen.
Man,
And
think about it. If you could just
No.
take your degree back to the school and be
Hell
like,
no.
and they 40,000 wiped out.
You done wasted their
Man,
damn
all
time.
that shit up there, they can have.
I'd
it.
have charged extra interest on your ass just
That's
to come
cool.
up
I'm just
in
saying,
there.
you just pay the interest. You can get rid of the principal and just pay the interest. That is a deal.
Ain't nobody finna take that shit serious.
Man, you a lie. I
Shit.
guarantee you right now that will get us out the hood. They get us off this black wall.
That's why they're not going
That's
to do
gonna
it.
send our ass to commercial. Fucking with you. But nah, Curry. So, Rapido Motors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let me say this on here live for everybody watching. To be a black woman in today's time and to have whether it's a smaller one or a big one doesn't
Yeah.
matter, but to have a dealership is dope.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Thank
for
you
sure.
very much.
I got to give you your
Yeah.
flowers.
Thank
That shit
you.
is hard.
Also, to add to that, this nigga been looking for you for the last 6 months.
Didn't I tell you on camera?
This
I told
nigga
you
been
that.
saying every episode we do
I told
afterwards,
you.
he said, hey, you can get that girl we had on Lisa thing. I can't find her name, but I need you to look for her.
I told you.
That
Oh,
nigga
thank
been
you
looking
so
for you for 6 months. I said, man, let me go look at this flyer and see what this lady name was.
I was adamant. I said
searched
people need
high
to hear
and low
that.
to find you. Then I said, Let me get on Lisa page. I looked at the Instagram of the flyer. She tagged everybody.
Okay.
I was just clicking on folks. I said, "Nah, I know them. I know." Bam, there she go.
He was like, he texted me one day. He said, "I found her." I said, "Who?" I said, Curry. I said, "Oh, for real? Oh, yeah, let's run
That
it."
man was so. I'm telling you, literally, that nigga been looking for you since August.
Thank
He
you.
been
Yeah,
looking.
for sure.
Thank you.
Because you know how when we do our episodes, right, we always be trying to figure out like, okay, how can we push it?
Right.
You know, who
Different avenues.
Yeah,
stuff we haven't
just
had.
different people to tap in because you don't want to be repetitive. Shit get old, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I said, man, if we could find her, I said, man, that'd be great because it just give a different mindset. Because the thing is, what you see on YouTube and just on social media, period, you don't see a lot of woman empowerment when it comes to entrepreneurship all the time. No offense to women now, but typically, ideally, you see like the nail shop, hair, stuff like that, or just real estate, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But you don't see the women that's tapping into a male dominant industry as car dealerships. So for you to just get your foot in the door is dope.
Right.
So
right.
I was gonna ask, like I said, I was gonna ask you anyway. If you could break down, how do you even get your cars on the lot to sell to your customers?
Okay, so when I first started, I just was doing cash. I got my auction license. And so the license is enough for you to actually go to the auction and start buying cars. So I was just starting out with cash cars here and there and selling them. So at the time, I'm using a lot of my own money. So I was kind of really making sure I stayed under 5,000 because, I'm thinking to myself, how much cash will people have on hand to buy cash cars so I can flip these cars? Kind of started out that way. But so as I started to get involved in the business, and that's what I'm going to say, it's crazy how like you can start off with just one thing. Cause I'm thinking like, okay, I'm just going to get this auction license and sell a few cars here and there. But as you start to get into a field or an industry, you start to just gather more and more information. So then I learned what a floor plan was, that you can actually buy cars on credit. And you can buy the more expensive cars, to get them financed. And I was like, well, I'm thinking to myself, like you said, like, well, I'm just a small dealership. But I'm like, well, no, this guy's like, you can fill out the application just like he was like, you're considered to be a Texas licensed dealer. You have the capabilities as long as you qualify to get financing. You just have to make sure you have the credentials. So I started to look into that. And that's when from there, I went ahead and got my finance license through the Office of Consumer Credit Counseling. Office of Consumer Credit. It's OCCS. That's how you go about getting, because that's also where you go when you're trying to set up like check cashing places. Anything having to do with credit, financing, running people's credit, you have to go through this department to get a license because you have to pass certain stipulations because you're going to be handling people's information and stuff like that. So once I got into that, and I was able, and I saw that I got approved and I got it. Just like, I'm like, okay, wow.
What was that feeling like? Like when did they send you a letter or you got an email?
Yeah, you'll get an email and then they'll follow up with a letter, but it's just like, okay, I got that thing. Now I can go to the next thing. So then the next thing was acquiring a floor plan. And that's them giving you a line of credit so that you can go purchase cars. So at that point, I'm like, okay, so this is how you make the real money. Cash cars are fine, but I can go buy a car for about $15,000, turn around and sell it for $20,000, get it financed and get all my money up front from the finance company, not having to make.
So the finance companies pay you as soon as the loan is done.
Yeah, once the loan is closed, different ones.
Like credit union.
Yeah,
it's just like credit union.
Yeah, different ones have different. Different ones have different, guidelines as to when they'll pay you. Some will pay you soon as you get the approval and send over the docs. Some you have to wait until you go get the title and transfer it over to them. But if you do everything you're supposed to and you have a process.
You pay within that week, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, she cashed out and then she probably, do her little cut and then she just reinvest back into the business.
Yeah.
And do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how that
shit
feeling
hard.
is. Yeah, come on in. You want some water?
But it's one of those things as when you're doing it, you're not realizing, because even to hear you guys say what you said, I didn't realize like how big of a deal it was, because I'm just doing it.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I'm completing paperwork. I'm getting these licenses. I'm getting people to come work for me with the cars. And a lot of salesmen would come to work for me. And it was some guys that I had met, some older black men who had worked for Clay Cooley. And they came, they were like, you got a dealership? And they were like, oh, okay, we're going to come check it out. So when they came and they saw everything I had, that I had the software, that I had the licenses, that I had everything in place to as a used car dealership, and they were like, and you never sold cars before. You just did all of this, went and got these licenses. He was like, man, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've never even I've just always been a salesman.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a mindset.
But his mindset was never to think bigger than just selling the car.
Yeah. So they would be very impressed with me, and I was like, dang, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but there's also been some downsides because being a woman, it is hard. Even like one time I went to the title place, there were times when they wouldn't believe it was my dealership. They thought I was trying to commit fraud because they were you're the owner. And it was a black woman who did it to me.
You tell us what she is. We'll get on here.
And that's crazy though, because her mindset ain't there. Because she probably don't know the possibility that they can be taken, that can actually happen. So that shit hard. That shit dope.
Man, that is crazy. You really out here living the dream. That's big though. Like, kudos to you on that. Like, I know one person that owns a car dealership back home in Jackson. You are the second person.
Okay.
So that is definitely big. That is definitely big.
You had said something about what was it? It was off camera. You had mentioned it like if you wanted, like if a person came up to you and said, "Hey, I want this car."
Yeah.
Right. And you said that you can go through the auction. Right. So hypothetically speaking, let's just say myself comes up to you and says, "Hey, look, I want this Range Rover."
I can get it.
Right. You can get it.
Right.
But how do you ensure that you're not wasting your time?
So
you see what I'm saying?
So I used to do that in the beginning. People would say, I want this. And, especially when you start because you're hungry. So you're like, I'll do it. And you'll spend. I even went through a situation where I actually went and even got the car for someone.
Damn.
They were like, I'm looking for this car for my husband. He really wants this. And I'm showing her different ones. I'm like, you sure you want this one? Because it's going to auction tomorrow and we can get it. She was like, yeah, I want to surprise him. Go ahead on and get it. We get the car. It was like a Dodge Ram or something. We get it. I get a text from her saying I showed him a picture of the car and he hates it. And I did that without getting any kind of deposit and any kind of,
you got to get that out on the public.
And so she backed out. I ended up being able to sell it eventually, but it is a lot of time that goes into searching for these, especially like when people want, because I told you there was a gentleman wanted a Hellcat. Mm-hmm. Now he was a good customer because he knew exactly what he wanted. He gave me the deposit right then and there to go look for it. And when I came through, he had the cash money, $65,000 cash that he came with the car. Yeah.
Yeah, he went bullshit.
Yeah.
He knew exactly.
So that's what you have to do, get a deposit to make sure. Yeah.
So let me ask, have you ever had somebody come through with that cash money mindset? They just come in with the bags and say, let me get one of them, and get him too.
No, I never had that. Not yet.
That's how I want to buy me a car. That's how I want to buy me a car.
I was going to ask, do you, and you say you only have one dealership, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you plan on going into like making it a little bit bigger, expanding other places? Or?
Yeah, I would like to, get it to the point where like it's a name dealership, like Rapido Motors. I'll tell you this with the tax firm or the tax and financial services, that is actually my goal this year. I've been talking about this for about 3 years that I'm actually wanting to move into franchising. Cause at first I was, because at first I was into this thing of opening all these offices on my own. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to hire employees. Like anything having to do with employees is really hard because, you have to find people that are willing to come and, give you the respect. And it's hard too when you're a small business owner because it's like they want both sides of the fence. They want when it comes to them and their pay and days off, they want you to act as if you're a corporate, Walmart, all that, but then working in the office and being on the phone and all that, then it's cool. We're here at Curry's place. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was like a little frustrated with that. I was like, I don't know if I can be able to open up all these locations and hiring people. So I was like, what can I do? So I was like, a lot of people will come to me and ask me about the tax business. I said, well, what if I did franchising where I created a brand, I put things in place because that's what we've been doing. I hired a business consultant about 2 or 3 years ago that put actual standard operational procedures in place so that if somebody wanted to open one, there's a whole manual that will guide them. So that's what I'm trying to move to with Rapido Financial. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do the work. You already here.
Exactly.
And it's just with financial, or is it going to be also too with?
I guess it's something I could look into for the dealership as well. One of the things I was going to do on the motor side was I actually was going to create some type of process to assist people with getting their auction license or giving them the blueprint to open up a dealership, like an ebook, maybe possibly, or something like that.
That would be hard.
Yeah.
So what would you say it costs to get your auction license? Just like overall.
The only thing it's really not that expensive. The only thing that might be kind of pricey is you do have to get a surety bond. For like, when I first started, it was only 25. I think now you got to get 50,000. And when you get a bond, it is based on your credit, so that could fluctuate. Because I've seen it where it's, when people come to, because we sell surety bonds, and I've seen
What is that?
So it's just a bond that the state requires you to have if in case anything goes wrong, or you do something that's not ethical, then you have that bond to protect you financially.
So it's like a lump sum of money that's just
Yeah,
stashed
well,
away just in
you
case?
don't have the money.
It's credit.
Yeah, it's almost like an insurance policy.
Gotcha.
So like a surety bond,
okay.
like if your credit is really good, a surety bond may only cost you, and they last for the one that you have to get for your dealership license is 2 years. It may cost you maybe $400 to $600 for the 2 years. But if your credit isn't that great, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. So that's the only thing that's really pricey when you're going through that process. The actual application process, I think, is like, because now my assistant, she kind of does everything for me every 2 years. But I want to say, I think the basic fee just for licensing is about $300 to $400.
So could you have an auction license without having a dealership? Like,
No, you do have to have a location.
Gotcha.
But the good thing is that you can have up to 3 licenses at one location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just go as a consumer and buy a car and call it a day.
Mm-mm. At the auction, though, you have to have auction. So once you get your auction license, then you sign up for what's called auction access, and it gives you access to all the state, all the legit auctions in the state.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what made you come up with the name Rapido Motors?
So that's another story.
Let's go.
Okay, so like I said, I was working for my friend, and he had, he was calling his business another name, but I was the one who actually put everything into place, like the name, set up everything. Well, when we ended terms, it wasn't on the best. It wasn't on the best. We weren't, it was really bad.
We got you.
So he put a cease and desist against me. So I had to come up with a name because I couldn't operate under his name. And so I was just like, dang, I got to come up with something. So I was just like, Rapido Financial. And then that's how I thought of it.
Yeah, quick.
And I never wanted to call it I was really strategic in not wanting to call it a tax business because in my mind, I just always knew I just didn't want to just do taxes. Mm-hmm. So I was really, even with the positions that I give my employees, I don't call them tax preparers. I call them customer service reps, because I'm real intentional about that because I don't want them to be stuck thinking that they just do taxes.
No, that's dope.
Yeah.
So Rapido for quick, had to hurry, came up with it, and the financial cover you on the basis of anything dealing with money.
Exactly.
Okay, that's dope. That's smart too. That's smart.
Not it is.
Man, it's been a lot of good information, man.
That shit, hey. I'm trying to tell you, hey. I hope people taking notes. I ain't lying. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you could kind of rewind a little bit, what was some of the challenges that you faced early on to get yourself established to where you are now?
I would say
in both fields.
Okay. I would say one of the biggest things that I think I've resolved within myself is that I had a bad habit of not trusting myself. I would think a lot of people were smarter than me, or that they would be able to, I don't know, I don't want to say smarter than me. Just trusting them, thinking that they would be able to do things for me or show me how I needed to. I'll give you an example, like with the dealership. Like when I met those guys, the salesmen, they came in and they're like, we're going to come in and we're going to help you. And, they were good salesmen. Don't get me wrong. But what I realized is they were salesmen. They didn't really understand the business side. So I was allowing them to make decisions based on their experience in the business, but not really based on what their knowledge was of the business. Mm-hmm. Like they knew the sales part. Like they knew their goal was, we got to
get somebody in that finance.
Yeah, get somebody in here. Let's get this sale. Let's get it done, moving so fast. But they didn't understand that working at a smaller dealership is a little different from Clay Cooley. For example, how you get paid. Clay Cooley, is sitting on millions of dollars. So if you sell a car, he can cut you a check the next day. I have to wait till funding comes in. I have to make sure that the customer doesn't default on their first payment, because if they do, the finance company will come back and take the loan back, and I have to take the car back.
So okay, in your business, you got to have one car note paid for it to be really stamped, signed, and sealed.
Sometimes two, just depending on the situation with the customers, credit and all that, or even just depending on the stipulations with the finance company. Some finance companies are cool with just one, some are cool with two, some are cool with none, depending on the customer.
Gotcha.
And in financial, kind of did the same thing because I had a friend of mine who was working along with me, and I knew she was very organized, very good with administrative work and paperwork and stuff. But what I didn't realize is that didn't mean she was a go-getter. And that didn't mean she had the mindset like I did. Mm-hmm. So I was allowing her, because I felt like she was a little bit more organized than me, to influence me on a lot of decisions that really I kind of knew within myself, but I just didn't trust myself. So I would say that was one of the biggest mistakes I made early on, was just thinking, okay, I know I got the hustle to go and get this done, but maybe this person is a little bit smarter than me and can come in and they can show me. And what that's led to is some people not really being able to do that. And then some people coming in and taking advantage.
Man.
So what I would say is, when you get into something, it's good to take advice and mentorship, but you got to learn that thing on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
got to be knowledgeable to be.
Yeah. You
got to know your craft before you really say, okay, I'm going to be a boss in it.
Right.
Because it's hard to just say, do this, and then if they ask you a question, you don't really know your own business, then it's like...
Or if you're allowing them, giving them certain responsibilities, and you're wondering why things are not happening, and they're just saying, oh, it's because such and such, or it's because I couldn't get this email, and you're thinking like, okay, they're telling me this. But then when you get in there and you start doing it yourself, you're like, that's not true. I was able to get this done today. So...
Nah, man, that's definitely good information. And for those watching, learn your business.
Yeah.
And in 2023, they brought it in, and they standing on the 2024. Stand on business.
I had to ask my son what that meant. I was like, what is this standing on business? I don't know what that
Hey, we operating how we said we was going to operate.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing else coming in between.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Standing on business. Well, Ms. Kerr, I know you've been talking to us for a while. I know you got a busy schedule. Just got a few more questions for you. So if you could just tell the viewers one thing that you can just advise them to do with their business, just something that's to keep them motivated and influenced, what would those words be?
I would tell people, the first one, know your business. The second one, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have, I've had, over the last 14 years, I've had some some down in the valley moments where a lot of people would have given up, but if it's something that you're passionate about, you have to stick with it. Understanding too, that being a boss or owning a business doesn't mean, okay, I'm the boss or I'm the owner, I get to do whatever I want. That's not necessarily. So yeah. The job paying what I pay you. If something happens to this business, I have to start all over and figure things out. So when I go home, the job doesn't end for me. I'm still constantly thinking, still constantly researching, still trying to figure out marketing, Instagram, just all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I tell people it's not as easy as, when people talk about the boss babes and boss life and all that stuff, I'm like, it's cool, but it's not a piece of cake. It can be real stressful. So it can be stressful, but you just got to stick with it, and you got to be ready to handle it.
Yeah. No, that's good information. And I think, going through those trials and tribulations really put you in the position that you're in today to be the boss that you are today. So kudos to you on that.
I got one question.
Yes.
I know in today's time, like with social media, we see these reels, right? Mm-hmm. And in these reels, it comes across as if a lot of the success that we see is overnight, mm-hmm. right? So if you could kind of give an estimated time frame for you specifically on how long did it take for you to get to where you were, to where you found success in your fields? Like year-wise, it didn't take, you know what I mean? Because some people, you see it online, people say, hey, you could be doing this, but you're too busy doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I guess for me, and I don't want to seem like a philosopher or anything. No. I guess for me, it just depends on what do you call success. Because I'll be honest with you, And not knocking anybody, because I like the best of the best. I've always been that way even before I became an entrepreneur. Like I like, my nice cars and all that stuff, but I don't know if that's, if you're saying the reels that they're creating, like this is my life after being an entrepreneur, is that really success? Because for me, success is, when you feel fulfillment or you feel a purpose or you feel happiness. And, material things can't really bring that to you. So I'll say this, for me, I'm just now feeling successful because I'm feeling like I have a purpose now, being able to share information with people, knowing that that I provide jobs for people that take care of families. And not only that, with my employees, I always encourage them, like if one of my employees were to go off and start their own firm, that would make me proud because I know I taught them that. So that's where I see success at. So I don't really see success in, even though I have a nice car and I have a home and, and I enjoy the fruits of my labor, but I would say that there were times when I had those things and I wasn't really happy,
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That is real.
You gotta have a purpose.
Everybody don't look at success like that.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
The gram would definitely alter a lot of people's
Yeah.
mindset.
And you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, man, Ms. Curry, this has definitely been a pleasant experience to have you here to be able to talk about your business and learn a little bit about yourself. We definitely gonna have to bring you back for a part 2 to continue as we grow. But before we get out of here, if you can shout your social media handles out.
Okay. All right. My Rapido Financial, the Instagram is Rapido. The Instagram is Rapido Financial. Rapido Motors is Rapido Motors, and then my personal Instagram is I am Curry Ryan.
Okay. Well, Sam, wrap us on up, my brother.
I'm gonna do a Rapido. Nah, man, everybody, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We are on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Man, you know what it is. It's the Chop It Up Podcast show.
We out, baby.
We out.